Hi, welcome back. In this lesson, I will explain how attackers exploit web applications and why web attacks are so common. Most digital services today run through web applications, so understanding the basics of web attacks helps you understand a huge portion of real-world cybersecurity incidents. Now let's consider why web attacks matter. They matter because the modern internet runs on web applications. Most services people use today are web-based. Web applications store sensitive and valuable data. Attacks can also scale quickly across many users, and one or a single flaw can impact thousands or even millions of people. Now, what is a web application? A web application is a software you use through the internet. It is software accessed through a browser. It includes front-end and back-end components. It communicates over the internet to serve requests, and it constantly accepts and processes user input. Why are web applications targeted? Web applications are targeted because they are exposed and valuable. They are targeted because they are publicly accessible by design. They handle user data and authentication. They are often complex and sometimes misconfigured, and small mistakes can create big security impacts. What are the common web attack categories we have? Web attacks usually fall into a few major categories. The first one is injection attacks, and this one targets input handling. Also, we have authentication attack that is targeted against login and access. We also have session-based attacks, and these target logged-in states. And we have logic and configuration flaws that target design and setup weaknesses. Let's consider injection attacks. Injection attacks happen when untrusted inputs get treated as instructions. In this case, attackers send malicious input, then the application mistakenly trusts that input. The input is then executed in an unintended way, and this then leads to data access or system control. Let's look at SQL injection at a high level. SQL injection targets databases through unsafe queries. It targets the database layer of every application. Attackers can manipulate database queries, and this manipulation can lead to an exposure, a change, or even a deletion of data, and it is one of the oldest and most common web attacks. The next one we'll look at is cross-site scripting at a high level. We can also call this XSS. Cross-site scripting or XSS targets users by injecting scripts into web pages. In this case, attackers inject malicious scripts into a site, and those scripts affect other users. The code then runs inside the victim's browser, and it exploits the trust between users and websites. Next is authentication-related attacks. Authentication attacks exploit weak login and access controls. Weak login mechanisms make these attacks easier. Poor password handling increases the risk. Missing protections like rate limiting can help attackers as well, and these weaknesses can lead to account takeover. Next one we'll consider is session management attacks. Session attacks target the token that keeps users logged in. In this case, attackers steal session tokens, they hijack active sessions, they can bypass login completely, and these attacks are often combined with man-in-the-middle techniques. And before now, we have considered man-in-the-middle attacks. So if you're seeing this lesson before the man-in-the-middle attack lessons, I would advise you look through that too. The next one is the business logic flaws. Business logic flaws are issues where the application works but the design is abused. It can be a case of an application working as designed, but the attackers abuse design assumptions. And in this case, no classic technical exploit might even be required. And these issues are hard to detect because they look like normal use, because it is just a normal feature that attackers are trying to abuse. Why are web attacks so effective? Web attacks succeed because web applications are hard to secure perfectly. And why? Because user input is difficult to control safely. Applications also can grow fast and change often. Security is sometimes added after features are built, and testing may be incomplete or inconsistent. Let's now look at web attacks and the CIA triad. Web application attacks can break all core security goals. Confidentiality can be impacted through data leaks, integrity can be impacted through data manipulation, and availability is impacted through disruption or overload. Lastly, many web attacks affect all the three. Here are real-world examples of web attack impact. Web attacks lead to outcomes people actually feel. Customer data breaches can expose sensitive data of the customer. Account takeovers can harm users and businesses. Financial fraud can follow compromised systems, and loss of trust can damage brands and platforms. Here is a summary of what we've learned in this lesson. This lesson has set the stage for deeper web security topics. We have learned that applications are major targets for attackers. We've seen that many attacks exploit trust and unsafe input handling. Also, small flaws can create huge impact. And lastly, we've seen that secure design and testing are very critical. Let's take a test together. The question is, what best explains why web attacks are so common and impactful in modern cybersecurity? Pause the video, read through the option, pick your answer and drop it in the comments, then come back to play the video. What's your answer? The correct answer is D. Web applications are widely used, publicly accessible, process constant user input, and a single flaw can affect large numbers of users. That's all for this lesson. Do not forget to like, comment, and share. Thank you so much and see you in the next lesson.